Hi everyone, welcome to our free webinar on how to become a virtual executive assistant. Thank you so much for joining my community here at MJ Virtual EA and our EVA Academy or Executive Virtual Assistant Academy. So for today's video, we're going to talk about how to be a virtual executive assistant. So this is a free webinar or a free course that is made available to everyone who's interested in becoming a freelancer, a solopreneur, a remote worker, and of course, specifically in the niche of virtual executive assistants. So let's start our webinar. The title of our webinar is How to Be an Executive Virtual Assistant or a Virtual Executive Assistant. So before we proceed in the details, I'd like to first introduce myself. So my name is Mia or MJ. I am a full-time virtual executive assistant or executive virtual assistant here in working at Athena Executive Assistants. I started in Athena in May of 2021. I have been with my client, Athena client, since June of 2021. I am very proud to say that I'm actually first in my training batch who got matched with a client. And just to give you a quick background of what my client or who my client is a CEO of a startup and their own multinational company. I am also a part-time wedding and events planner. That was actually my business or full-time business prior to being a full-time freelancer. But I'm still doing that on the side as a part-time business. And out of my career, I am a mom, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a relative, and a fur mom to 4 dogs. I am a college undergraduate. I wasn't able to finish my college. I think I finished up until third year college. So this is a sign that even if you're not a college graduate, you can still definitely be or you can still have an amazing career. Now, I'm not saying don't graduate, of course. It is still a great achievement to finish your studies. But if you are not a college graduate, then you still have a chance to make it big in whatever career that you want to pursue. And prior to being a freelancer, and a virtual executive assistant or an executive assistant, I don't have any freelancing experience. So I came into the freelancing world and the virtual assistant world with zero knowledge of what a virtual assistant is doing or the job of a virtual executive assistant. But of course, prior to applying in Athena, I did my research since I don't have any idea. And I realized that being an executive virtual assistant is also like being a wedding and events planner. So it wasn't really hard for me to transition. And in this online course, you will realize or you will see that even if you don't have any work experience, formal work experience, and if you are working in different fields, you will see that there is a connection with any type of work background that you have experience in terms of with being an executive virtual assistant. So if you have, like me, zero knowledge into what an executive assistant is, a virtual assistant is, then this is the right video that you should watch because I made sure that this is newbie friendly. So let's start our free webinar. First, let's discuss what is a virtual executive assistant. So a virtual executive assistant or executive virtual assistant is a person who is employed or hired to assist a high-level manager, an executive director, a company owner, whether it be big or small business, to do personal and administrative tasks for that person. An EVA also prioritizes communication and planning of their executives' daily lives, personal and professional. Virtual EAs or EVAs are also responsible for a lot of different tasks that their client would need. We are actually considered a jack and Jill of all trades. So if we basically do a lot of things for our client, anything that our client would want us to do, we do those things. In the next few slides, you will see the different tasks that we will be doing for our client as EVAs. Now, the similarity of us EVAs are like admin assistants or personal assistants in other companies or corporations. But the difference is that we're just doing everything virtually and our clients are overseas. Next, what is the difference between a virtual executive assistant and a virtual assistant? You would ask, is there really a difference between your virtual assistant and your executive virtual assistant? And I would definitely say yes. Let's proceed with virtual assistant first. Virtual assistants focuses on a niche specific type of tasks. These are your Amazon VA, e-commerce VAs, your accounting VAs, your healthcare VAs. So they have specific niches that they specialize on. And most of the time, virtual assistants, their clients will provide them with a list of tasks that they will do on a day-to-day basis. The advantage of virtual assistant is that they can have multiple clients since they have specific tasks that they do for their clients. They, as soon as they're finished with the task wherein they can finish it maybe in 4 hours or 2 hours, they can proceed to the next client and finish their tasks with that next client because they are niche specific. Now with executive virtual assistant, it's still considered as a niche being an executive virtual assistant, but we do a lot of different things. We sometimes do finance for our client, we do basic social media for our clients, we do travel management. So it's a mix of different things that we do for our client. That's why I don't consider executive virtual assistant being a niche specific type of VA. And the thing with EVAs also is that our clients don't necessarily provide us with the fixed tasks that we will do for a specific day. Most of the time, clients will hire EVAs because they need someone to assist them with different parts of their lives. Sometimes we will tell them what to do. That's why it's very important for EVAs to have that characteristic of executive, to have the executive presence characteristics. That because there are instances wherein we have to tell our client, hey, your calendar is really messed up. It's very chaotic. This is how we're going to fix it. So that's the reason why clients are hiring us, because sometimes they don't know how to handle their calendars. They'll just have to put in meetings. So they will hire an executive virtual assistant to tell them, okay, we're going to fix your calendar like this, and then we will be the one to guard their calendar. So something like that. You'll find out more about it in the next few slides. And executive virtual assistant also must be willing to learn a lot of new skills and tools depending on the type of task that our clients would like us to do. And executive EVAs also should learn how to work independently, because most of the time, our client, we will actually be the one to delegate tasks for ourselves. Like for example, we see in our client's inbox that they have plans of traveling in the near future. We will not wait for our client to tell us what to do. We will tell our client that, hey, I saw on your email that you're planning a trip in Europe. Here are some places that you can go to. Here are some flights that I already researched. Let me know if there's anything here you like and I'll book them for you. So that's what we do. And since we do everything for our clients as EVAs, personal and professional tasks, there is really no way or not enough time for you to get other or multiple clients. So most of the time, EVAs just really work for one client. So that's the difference between your EVAs and your VAs. Now, the next few slides, we will be discussing, like I mentioned, what is an EVA, the skills that we need to learn, tools that we need to learn, characteristics that we need to have, how to create your online profile, and how to book your clients if you're looking for direct clients online. So first on our module, or the first module on this webinar, is the skills that you need to learn as a virtual executive assistant. First thing that you need to learn is a very important skill, which is inbox management. So what's inbox management? This is when your client provides you with access to their email inbox. You have full access of their inbox, and you are going to do different tasks for inbox management. Now, the most important one is doing your daily inbox sweep. Now, it just specifically means that you're going to check their inbox and see if there are items that you need to put in archive, there are items that you need to delete, and there are items that you need to inform your client that they need to read this, or items that your client needs to respond to. So inbox sweep just means that you don't have to zero out, because the next one is reaching inbox zero, wherein everything should be unread. It's not necessarily like that. It doesn't mean that everything should be unread. It just means that you will keep items unread, because those are the items that needs your client's attention. So that's it. That's what we mean by reaching inbox zero and your daily inbox sweep. Next would be creating email drafts. So if you already see, or if your client already told you or taught you how to reply on their behalf, or create just drafts that your client will use to reply to emails, then you're going to create those things, or those email drafts or email draft replies on behalf of your client. Sometimes also, when you're already in that relationship with your client, you have built your trust, then your client will allow you to reply on their behalf using their own inbox and pretending that they are the ones replying to that email. Next, also for inbox management, is you're going to use it as a source of your task repository, meaning you will definitely see a lot of tasks that you can delegate yourself without waiting for your client to tell you what to do, which is why it's very important that at the beginning, or in the few months, you should already build your trust with your client so that they can provide you access to their inbox. Next is, what's very important in inbox management is, of course, you have to learn how to use the different email features, specifically for Gmail, since that's the most common email that any client uses. Other clients would also use Microsoft Outlook as their email, and some very few uses Superhuman as their email. So you just have to familiarize yourself with first Gmail, and then maybe try a little bit of Outlook. Now, Superhuman, it's a paid version, so if you get a client who is using Superhuman, you can definitely look up tutorials in YouTube. The next skill that you need to learn is calendar management. This is also very important because most of our clients' life actually revolves around their calendar, especially if they're very busy people. So the things that you need to learn on calendar management is how to create events or meeting events for your client, how to invite people on that event, how to make sure that the time slots are correct, how to attach documents on calendar events. So all of those things you need to learn, and that is included in the features of Google Calendar, so specifically Google Calendar. Next would be inputting flight details. Now, you know how in the States, even if they just travel within the States, the time zones differ. So you have to make sure that you know how to input flight details with different time zones of arrival or different time zones of departure. Next is inputting restaurant reservations. You have to make sure that you're familiar on how to input restaurant reservations in your client's calendar. Reviewing and optimizing your client's calendar simply means that this will be at the start of your relationship with your client, wherein they provide you, or they give you their access to their email or their calendar, and then they will tell you, you will see that it's very chaotic. There's a lot of meetings overlapping each other and all of those things. Now, what you're going to do as an executive virtual assistant or as an EVA is to optimize your client's calendar. So you will provide your client suggestion on how to lessen the overlapping of the emails, overlapping of the meetings, moving specific meetings to just a few days a week, so that your client can also have time to focus on personal stuff and deep work stuff, so that they will have more time. Because as what I learned in Athena, us executive virtual assistants are hired by our clients because we want to give back time to our client, meaning we make more time for our client by delegating tasks to us, and of course making sure that their calendar is optimized. Next thing that you always have to remember with calendar management is when you input time zones, you have to triple check, quadruple check, 5 times check the time zones to make sure that it's correct. Now, what's very important with time zones also, that's why I included it here, is because if you make a mistake with the time zone, your client might miss an important meeting with an investor, or an important meeting with their customer or their clients as well. So it's very important that you triple check your time zones prior to finalizing a calendar event on your client's calendar. The next skill that you need to learn is travel management. Now, our clients are CEOs, they're company owners, directors, managers. So most of the clients that are hiring executive virtual assistants would travel most of the time all over the world. Just like my client, my client has a lot of clients also all over the world, so she travels most of the time. So it's very important that you know how to do travel management. Now, what do we do in travel management? You search and book flights, hotels, restaurants, car rentals, activities, and other travel-related tasks. So you need to learn how to search for flights, what their favorite airline is. You need to make sure that you learn how to search hotels, when is the cheapest day to book a hotel, or all of those things. Same goes for restaurants. You have to familiarize yourself with your clients' preferences in terms of what they want to eat, where they want to stay, and all of those things. Same goes for activities. You need to know what your client likes to do. Like, do they love going to museums or gardens, or are they more of the adventurous type, wherein they like to go skydiving, all of those things. So you need to familiarize yourself and get to know your client on a personal level when it comes to travel management. Next thing that you need to learn, once you've already searched all of those things, booked all of those things for their travel, you need to be able to create a final and detailed itinerary for your client. So you use different project management tools to be able to create a final itinerary for your client. Next important thing in travel management is you have to make sure that you also know how to complete their travel requirements, such as visas that they need to apply to, any health information that they need to submit for when they travel to a specific country, renewal of their passports, applying for global entry and international license or driving license. So all of those things you have to find out for your client, and to complete all of those documents on behalf of your client. Travel management is actually one of my favorite tasks that I do for my client, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy this also. Next skill that you need to learn is events management. It's quite hard to do events management because we are executive virtual assistants and we do everything virtually, but it is definitely possible. You can still be on top of things, on top of the event itself, even on the day of the event, as a executive virtual assistant. So what do we do in events management? We search and book vendors or suppliers. We make negotiations in terms of their rates. We review their contracts. We make sure that they are legit suppliers or vendors, and make sure that the proper documentation is provided by the vendors. In terms of the type of events that we can plan personal and corporate events for our clients, depending on whether they want us to plan personal or corporate events. Another task that we do for events management is creating programs and timelines. So you have to make sure that the requirements are submitted on time, if there are permits that needs to be submitted, if we need to create the program, and we have to orient the vendors like the lights and sounds or the host, we have to do those things. Finally, we have to maintain a budget, especially if it's a corporate event. You have to make sure that the vendors that you are able to book is within the budget of your client. Actually, whether it be personal or corporate, you have to maintain a budget. But the difference between personal and corporate, personal events, you can definitely go higher than what they like, but when it comes to corporate events, you really have to be strict with to maintain the budget, because it's corporate. There are a lot of steps to get approval if you need a higher budget or a more expensive budget for a specific event. Next skill that we need to learn is household management. Now, household management is mostly on the personal tasks that we do for our clients. So this is us searching and booking service providers such as doctors, fitness instructors, electricians, pool guys, and all of those things. Or all of those other service providers. So you have to make sure that you know where to search and where to look for them. Another task that we do under household management is paying our clients' bills. So you have access to your clients' financial details like their credit cards or their bank accounts. So you have to make sure that you pay their bills on time, or you can also apply for automated or auto debit for their bills. We also do a lot of online shopping and grocery for our clients, since most of our clients in the US, or mostly Americans, love to do online shopping. And their groceries are also done online already. It actually increased the past few years because of the pandemic. So they buy their groceries via Amazon Fresh. So you just have to familiarize yourself on the websites that you have to go to purchase groceries and shopping online. Next for household management is birthday and celebration reminders. So you have to remind your client that there's an upcoming birthday, let's say 2 weeks prior to the birthday of their family member, or an anniversary of their parents. You just have to remind them that it's upcoming, and then you suggest gifts that they can purchase for their family members, that we can purchase on their behalf and send it to their family members. So that's actually a very important task that we do for our clients, because they're very, very busy people that sometimes they forget that it's the birthday of their sister and all of those things. So that's where we come in, remind them about that, and send the birthday gifts on their behalf so that they can maintain that relationship with their family and friends. The next skill that we need to learn is meeting management. This usually happens when your client includes you in their business or their company. So we just create minutes of the meeting, to summarize the whatever it is that they discuss during the meetings. And then, of course, we create calendar events for meetings and invite people for those meetings. Now, it's very important in terms of meeting management that we learn how to use Calendly. Now, Calendly is a meeting or a scheduling platform that we can integrate with Google Calendar. So meeting management and calendar management actually works hand in hand. So you have to make sure that you learn them together. The next task that we need to learn is basic social media management. Now, being a social media manager or a social media marketer is actually a very hard task to do. If you want to focus on social media management, then you have to learn social media management as a whole, because you cannot be an executive assistant and a social media manager at the same time. It's just not possible, because being a social media manager is a very, very hard thing to do. That's why I included the word basic, because as an executive assistant, we only do basic social media management for our client. If your client wants you to focus on their social media, then you have to transition to becoming a social media manager and not being an executive assistant, something like that. Or you are going to be a social media manager and then an executive assistant on the side. If your client really wants to hire or really wants to, level up their social media, then you have to suggest to your client that they can hire a full-time social media manager so that you can focus on other tasks as an executive assistant. But if they said that they just want to make sure that they are engaging, they are posting every day and all of those things, then learning how to do basic social media management is something that we can do as an executive assistant. So in terms of basic social media, you just create content or a content calendar for your client. You can create videos and graphics, and Canva is your best friend. And then you can also do or study and create a little bit of analytics report. You don't have to deep dive into the analytics of your client's social media because that's something a social media manager would do. So if your client wants to really be specific in terms of their analytics and really have, the goals and targets of growth, then hire a social media manager. So those are all of the important tasks that we do as executive virtual assistant. There's still a lot more, but these are the things that you need to learn first. Our next module, we will talk about the tools that you need to learn as an executive virtual assistant. The first tools that you need to learn are email tools. Now, we have Gmail as the most important and the most common email tool that you need to learn. Next one would be Microsoft Outlook. And the last one is Superhuman. Personally, I don't have experience with Superhuman, but I do have experience with both Gmail and Outlook. Outlook is a little bit more complicated and it's quite hard to access Outlook because you need to purchase the Microsoft Office. But if your client will provide you an Outlook email, then definitely you'll have full access to their Outlook. Gmail is for free and your client can definitely provide you access to their Gmails anytime. So you have to make sure that you learn the features of all of these. But I suggest just focus first on Gmail and a little bit of Outlook. Superhuman is quite advanced, but it's nice to learn the basics also. This is a paid app, so if you want to learn how to use Superhuman, just go to Google and search for basic tutorials for beginners. Now, the email features that you need to learn, first is how to attach files and photos in emails on your email messaging, how to attach hyperlinks, how to format body, how to use the format of the body, how to use formatting features for the body of your email, how to create email templates, how to create filters and folders in your inbox, how to schedule send emails in the future, and how to change your email layout or interface to make sure that you optimize your client's inbox. So these are the first features that you need to learn so you can pause, take a picture, and then start learning them. You can focus on learning them via Gmail because it's quite similar, or the features is quite similar in Microsoft Outlook. So since Gmail is the most common email that we use, then Gmail is your best friend, and of course, it's for free. The next tools that you need to learn is calendar tools. Now, you have your Google Calendar, which is the most common calendar tool that we use, and then you have Calendly. Calendly is not a calendar itself, but it's a scheduling tool that you integrate with your Google Calendar. Now, I included Google Maps in Google Calendar because Google Maps will tell you traffic forecasts, or will provide you with traffic forecasts that you can use to make sure that whenever your client needs to travel, you will also be able to input their travel time or what time they need to leave to be able to arrive in the destination on time. Now, the calendar features that you need to learn is changing and setting time zones in your calendar. That's very important. That should be on the top of your list. Next is to create meetings and invite people to those meetings. So you have to learn how to do that. Integrate Calendly and Google Maps to your Google Calendar is also very important skill or feature that you need to learn. Next is automate meeting and invites. You need to be able to learn how to do this in Google Calendar. And integrate Zoom and Google Meet in your calendar events so that you can automatically add Google Meet rooms and Zoom rooms in your calendar events. The next tools that you need to learn are project management tools. There are actually a lot of different project management tools. It's actually depends on what your client is already using, and what is useful in terms of how your client wants to use it. Now, I'm very familiar with Notion. I am using this all the time. Me and my client use Notion for project management. I am learning Asana right now. I only know the basics, but I'm trying to learn Asana in terms of project management. Trello is something that I used before for my weddings and events. It's just very basic. Next would be, now these two are very advanced project management tools, but they're very, very, very powerful. So you have ClickUp and Airtable. I'm trying to learn them both currently, but I'm focused more on Airtable, especially when it comes to social media management. So these are the things that you need to learn. Now, you use project management features to be able to create and automate processes for your clients' specific department. It's a marketing or HR or finance department. And it's also very important to know how to use it in terms of team collaboration and how to streamline your specific tasks. So these are the features that you need to learn when it comes to project management tools. Next tools are that you need to learn is how to use Google Drive. Prior to this, what's very famous is Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. But since we are doing everything virtually, it's very important to veer away from your Microsoft Excel and focus more on Google Sheets, Docs, and Slides. These are the counterparts of your Excel, that's Google Sheets, your Word, that's Google Docs, and your PowerPoint is Google Slides. Now, learn these things because these are all cloud-based tools, and you can share it to your client or to anyone that you're working with, and all the edits are live. And of course, it won't eat up space in your computer. So Google Drive features that you need to learn is how to share files, how to attach Google Drive files to your email, and how to create database documents and presentations, and then survey forms in your Google Drive features. So if you know how to use Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, it's just all the same. Other tools that you need to learn, we have Google Forms that you will find in Google Drive also. Monday.com is actually also another project management tool that you might want to check out. And LastPass is a very important tool in terms of password sharing. So your client can share their credit card information embedded in LastPass. So you just have to learn how to use it and how to share your logins to your clients. So those are the tools or the basic tools or the first tools that you need to learn that you will definitely be using almost every day when you are an executive virtual assistant. If there are other client-specific tools that your client wants to learn, then your best friend is YouTube, unless your client provides a video tutorial for that specific tool that they want you to use. Next thing that you need to learn is the characteristics of an executive virtual assistant. Now, why are we learning this, or why did I include this in our webinar? Because learning the skills and the tools is not enough to be a successful executive virtual assistant. You have specific characteristics or competencies that you need to learn, and you need to find out and, of course, show to your client to be able to succeed as an executive virtual assistant. Let's start off with being detail-oriented. Now, I am the type of person, I am very, very forgetful. So making sure that I am able to write down everything and I don't miss anything. I make sure to write to write down everything. I have notes, I have calendars, so I make sure that I'm reminded of all the things that I need to do for the day. So you have to make sure that you're detail oriented. How can you be detail oriented? Make sure that whenever you do tasks, no matter how familiar you are with that specific task, you always take your time and never be in a rush. Read everything, read all of the details. If you have to read the terms and conditions from number 1 up until number 105, then read all of the terms and conditions and don't be in a rush. Now, next is you need to triple check everything, not just double check, but triple check or quadruple check or even more. Check it 10 times prior to sending or saving it, especially when it comes to your client's calendar. Next is you have to fact check things. Now, Google or the internet is a very big place and there are a lot of fake news. So, for example, your client is traveling. You want to make sure that this country is no longer requiring tourists to provide an RT-PCR test. So, it's not enough to just check, let's say, CNN. You have to make sure that you check reliable sources such as the embassy website of that specific country. If you have to call the embassy, then call them. But you have to make sure that some important stuff, especially when it comes to travel or when it comes to completing a specific requirement, you have to fact check everything to make sure that it's correct. Next is to reconfirm everything. When I say reconfirm, for example, I do this when I reserve hotels for my client and reserve restaurants. Even if I already reserved it online, I still call the restaurant to make sure that they were able to receive my reservation request, something like that. So you always have to reconfirm things. Next characteristic that you need to have as an EVA is you have to be resourceful. Now, Google is our best friend, definitely, to search for whatever it is that we need to do. But when we say being resourceful, searching in Google is not enough. There are specific tasks wherein you always have to think outside of the box. Something that you think is impossible to do, as long as you're able to think it, then do it. So there's nothing impossible when you are an executive assistant. So unless it's really an impossible task. Like for example, applying for a passport today because your client is leaving tomorrow, it's something that's impossible to do. But try to find ways to be able to make it possible. But if you've already exhausted all of the resources, all of the research, you've exhausted the contacts that you have, then of course some things are really impossible to do. Use all of the resources in your disposal so you can connect with other executive assistants. If you find someone on TikTok that can help you reaching a specific person to be able to help your client, then do that. When you are an executive assistant, you have to have that mindset that nothing is impossible. So if you have to think outside the box, think outside of the box, something like that. So you just have to make sure that when you're an executive assistant, you have that nothing is impossible mindset, unless you've already reached that point where it's really impossible. The next characteristic that you have is you have to make sure that you are assertive. When we say assertive, you have to have that confidence to tell your client that, hey, we cannot do this anymore, or hey, client, please stop what you're doing, focus on me because we need to finish this now. Something like that. Assertive but respectful at the same time. So, as I said here, there are moments wherein you need to take lead in specific tasks for your client. And sometimes also, you have to represent your client on their behalf. So, that works hand in hand with being confident. Being assertive also means that you constantly give task updates for your client. So if your client provides you a task, you don't leave your client hanging and not give them an update for the next few days. So you have to make sure that you give them an update, let's say after 30 minutes or after an hour of where you are already in the task that you're doing. Being assertive also means that you're accountable for your own mistakes. So if you did something wrong, don't blame it on someone else because you're the one who's facing your client. So you have to make sure that you are accountable with the tasks that you are doing and specifically with mistakes that you've done. Being assertive also means you have to show empathy and respect for your client. When we say empathy, when you're an executive assistant, you can't just be transactional with your client all of the time. You have to have that personal touch also, wherein you have to, like, let's say, tell your client, for example, when your client tells you, hey, can you look for a doctor for me because I'm not feeling well, then you have to tell you, when you reply to your client, yes, definitely I can do that. And then you ask them, how are you, what are you feeling? I hope you're okay. I can definitely help you in this one to make sure that you feel better in the future. So you can't just be transactional and tell them that, yeah, sure, definitely I'll do that, and then that's it. No, you have to empathize and make sure that you have the personal touch with your client. So that's being assertive. The next characteristic that you need to learn is to be dependable. When we say dependable, it just means that you take ownership of the things that your client are asking you to do. You are not afraid to learn new skills and provide a better output for your client. So this, when you say dependable, for example, your client tells you that, hey, I want you to learn, like, specific example. My client told me that, hey, I want to teach my team or my marketing team how to use Asana. Can you teach them? And I'll definitely say, yeah, definitely. But I don't know how to use Asana. So what I do is I learned how to use it. I told my client, can you give me enough time to be able to learn the basics and create a module for your team? And then we can start the training. So even if I don't know how to use Asana, I'm going to learn how to use it so that I can be able to provide the training that my client is asking me to do for her team. So that's what dependable is. You don't just say now, oh, sorry, I can't do that because I don't know how to use Asana. So for you to be able to show that you are dependable as an executive virtual assistant, you will learn these things for your client. Another way to be dependable is to make sure that you are always responsive in all of your communication with your clients. If they tell you something, hey Mia, can you do this, like that, you have to make sure that within 30 minutes or 10 minutes, you're able to reply and tell them, yep, definitely, this is received, this is noted, give me an hour and I'll provide you with an output. That's how we become dependable executive virtual assistants. The next or the last one on our list in terms of the characteristics that you need to have and as an EVA is to be proactive. When we say proactive, this just means that we can work independently with minimal to no supervision at all. Why is that proactive? It just means that our client doesn't have to micromanage us. So we can tell our client that, hey, yeah, I can do that, I can handle that. Or you can tell your client that, hey, I see you want to do this next week. Let me get that and I'll definitely do that for you. Something like that, wherein you initiate in terms of delegating a specific task for yourself. Another way to show that you're proactive is to make sure that you show integrity at all times, meaning that you are honest in all of the tasks that you do for your client. And then, of course, like what I said, to be proactive is you have to be able to find tasks that you can delegate for yourself so that your client will have more time for more important things. Now, there are still a lot of different characteristics or competencies that you need to have as an executive assistant, but these are the first few ones that's very important for you to learn and focus on. The next module would be how to create your online profile. So now that you already know what the skills are, what the tools are, what the characteristics are for you to succeed in becoming an executive virtual assistant, then it's time to create your profile and start looking for clients. Now, these are the different profiles that you can create as an executive virtual assistant. You have your resume or your CV, you have your LinkedIn profile, you have your Upwork and OLJ or Online Jobs PH profile. You can create your portfolio, an introduction video, and of course, we have to determine how much your charge is. So let's start off with your resume and your curriculum vitae. So let's just differentiate the resume and CVs. Resume should include the latest educational background. So if you finish college, then just put in college. You don't have to put in your high school and your elementary. Next, in terms of work experience, just show your most recent work experience, let's say for the past 5 years or 10 years, or maybe the recent 5 jobs or 4 jobs that you have. And you also have to make sure to only include the job experience or work experience that is related to what you are applying for. Okay. For your resume also, unless you're applying for a creative post, your resume should just be simple, black and white, and direct to the point. It doesn't have to be colorful with graphics and all of those things. Even actually, if you are applying for a creative post, I highly should suggest that your resume should be very simple in black and white, because you have your portfolio when it comes to applying in a creative post. For resumes also, you don't have to include a photo. Now, others would say you can include a photo or you have to include a photo in your resume. Now, if the person you're applying for, the company you're applying for, does not specifically state that you have to have a photo on your resume, you don't have to include that. Why? Because that had been an issue before, wherein companies are hiring people based on their looks instead of actually their background. So to be able to remove that bias and make sure that everyone are able to apply equally, a lot of companies really don't require you to put in a photo in your resume. Now, that's totally different when it comes to your curriculum vitae. Your curriculum vitae should actually detail all of your educational background from your elementary up until your college. If you did a master's degree, you should put that in. It should also detail all of your work experience from after college or from your on-the-job training. It should include all of those details. It should also include all of the seminars and workshop you attended. If you have any awards and certificates that you received, that should also be included in your CV. Your CV should also include your photo. Now, you see the big difference between them also are the number of pages. Resumes should just be 1 or 2 pages. Your curriculum vitae can go up until 10, 12 pages. So that's the difference. Next profiles that you should create is Upwork and Online Jobs PH. Now, Upwork is a job search platform for creatives and freelancers. This can also be, I consider Upwork as an agency type as well, because Upwork gets a cut or a percentage from your rate. I think it's 20%, if I'm not mistaken. And the downside also to Upwork is it's very challenging to create a profile, but it's very good to be able to create a profile in Upwork. I am still not yet done creating my Upwork profile, but yeah, it's very good, especially if you're trying to look for direct clients. Now, for Online Jobs PH, it's a job search platform same as Upwork, but they don't get any percentage from your income. So it's just a job search, you apply, and then you just talk directly to the client, and you can do your business somewhere else and not directly in OLJ. With Upwork, all of the business that you do should be within Upwork. The nice thing with OLJ also, it's very easy to create a profile. You just have to reach 99 ID proof. For you to be able to reach 99 ID proof, you just need to provide a copy of a valid ID, your address validation, like a billing statement, and I think your selfie. So that's how to reach 99 ID proof in OLJ. Now, the downside just right now in OLJ is it's very hard to look for direct clients, because most of the agencies in the Philippines are also posting job posts in OLJ. Pretending. Well, not pretending, but looks like that. Pretending to be direct clients. Next profile that you need to focus on, now this is very important, especially if you're looking to be an executive virtual assistant and looking for direct clients then you should have a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is actually already considered as a social media platform, just like your Facebook or your Instagram, but it's focused more on career and professional achievements. So there are a lot of things that you can use within LinkedIn. They have pages, they have certifications and all of those things. And then you can connect directly with professionals within LinkedIn. It's also a great place, like I mentioned, it's a great place to network and find people. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to change your profile picture to have that open to work, meaning you are looking for people to hire you. And it's a great place to look for executives. If you can find people with a hashtag that says looking to hire on their profile pictures, then you can connect with them via LinkedIn. The next profile that you need to create is an intro video. Now, this is not something that you're going to post online. You can just create this and send it to potential clients. Now, your intro video should only be 2 minutes. It should not go over 2 minutes because of the retention rate of your client. So you have to make sure you maintain it for 2 minutes. Make sure that you include a little bit something about you, a personal details about you, relevant work experience based on the what you're applying for, and of course, a little bit about your educational background. What's important with creating an intro video is you have to have a good microphone, your video is okay, and then your lighting. Your background should also be very important. If you don't have a good background, you can use something like this, a virtual background. And of course, prior to creating or shooting your video, you have to make sure that you create a script. Next on your profile or your online profile is you have to make sure that you create a portfolio. Now, if you are not if you are not under the creatives field, then your portfolio can be just very, very simple. It can just detail a little bit something about you, the administrative skills that you know how to do, tools that you know how to use, and maybe a little bit of work experience, your rates, and then that's it. That's actually how my portfolio looks like, especially when I'm just applying as an executive virtual assistant. But if you're a social media manager, a graphic designer, or a website designer, then your profile can be very, very creative and should focus on the things that you already do, designs that you already created. Now, you can use the information in your resume as the information that you will put on your portfolio. Your portfolio can also be in PDF format that you can send to your clients, or it can also be a website format. It's actually very easy to create both in Canva. So you can create a PDF format portfolio that you can also launch as a website just by using Canva. Now that you already have the different type of portfolios, the next thing that you need to be able to identify is how much is your rate. So what is your service fee? Okay. Now, if you're just starting as an executive virtual assistant, you can charge for $5 per hour. And if it's not per hour, you can charge a monthly rate of $800 per month. We also have project based, like for example, he'll just hire you for, let's say, just to fix their calendar. You can have a fixed rate of $800 per project. So that's something that you can look into, especially if you're just starting. Now, if you feel like you are already advanced, like you already have the experience, you can go as high as $7, $12 per hour, $15 per hour. You can go as high as that, as long as you have the experience and you know you'll be able to deliver that much. Okay. Now, for monthly, you can go as high as 1,500 a month, 1,500 to $2,000 a month, or you can go as high as $3,000 a month, as long as you are able to make sure that you can provide really a very quality service, especially if you already have the experience. Now, just to give you a background, in the US, some EVAs, especially Americans, they go as high as $25 as their starting, and then can go as high as $30 to $45 per hour. So if you have that, those are virtual executive assistants, and they are US based virtual executive assistants. So we can definitely compete with them because we are very good virtual executive assistants as well. So if you feel like you have that enough experience already, you can go as high as $35, $45 per hour. Now that you already have your service fee, you already know how much you're going to charge, it's time to look for our clients. But before you start sending out your portfolios or your resumes to potential clients, let's try to familiarize ourselves. Who are the clients you can look for or you can approach as an executive virtual assistant? So the client profiles that you need to look out for are CLevel executives, licensed professionals, big and small entrepreneurs. Let's check them out one by one. First one are your CLevel executives. You have your CEOs. They can be our main, or they are our main targets as executive virtual assistants. Why are they our main target? Because they can get us personally to assist them with their personal tasks so that they can focus on their professional lives. You can find most of the CEOs on LinkedIn. Okay, it's rare that you find CEOs on Instagram, depending on the type of business that they have. But C-level executives in multinational companies, you'll definitely find them on LinkedIn. The next profile that we have are licensed professionals. So when we say licensed professionals, these are doctors, lawyers, architects, anyone who went through an exam to get a license number, like, a law exam or something like that. Then I just keep forgetting the term. I think I'm quite hungry, so I'm forgetting some terms. But yeah, these are what we consider licensed. They are what we consider licensed professionals. So you have your doctors. So doctors actually usually have assistants in their clinic, but they would definitely need help with their personal lives. So we can attract, or we can get doctors to hire us as executive assistants because we can help them with their household, their travels, fix their inbox, those things. We can provide our service by reminding them on birthdays, helping them in purchasing gifts. So those are the things that we can focus on, or the skills that we can highlight when we are trying to attract doctors. Now, where can you find doctors? Of course, you can find them on LinkedIn, and then you can find them also on Facebook, Instagram, and some are actually very active already on TikTok and YouTube. Next would be lawyers. Now, they are also licensed professionals, just like doctors. They have assistants already or associates who help them with their work stuff, but they would definitely need someone to help them with their personal lives. So you make sure that you can also approach lawyers. You can find lawyers on LinkedIn. Some lawyers are also very active on YouTube and TikTok, so you can approach them on there also. I know on TikTok you already see that we have legal VAs. They are already a specific niche, but legal VAs usually help lawyers in their work stuff. As an executive virtual assistant, you can come in and give your services to the lawyers in terms of their personal stuff, like making sure they are still close with their families, fixing their inbox, their calendar, planning travels for them, etc. So you focus on more of the personal tasks instead of the work task when it comes to licensed professionals, specifically lawyers. Next one would be influencers. There is still a market to target up and coming influencers to hire virtual executive assistants. When I say up and coming, most of famous influencers would already have their own PAs or personal assistants, so they definitely probably won't need virtual executive assistants. So if you can target those up and coming influencers, then you can make them hire you as their EVAs. You can market yourselves as someone who can do managerial work for them, like scheduling their meetings and all of those things, planning travels for them, etc. So you can you can still target influencers. Of course, you can find influencers through all of the social media platforms, but rarely on LinkedIn. So you can focus on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The next would be chefs. Now, this is something that is untapped, okay? But I personally know chefs. I have friends who are chefs in the US. Now, they are very, very, very busy people. They're like lawyers or doctors. Sometimes they're more busy than doctors and lawyers. So this is an untapped market. So you can definitely reach out to chefs because they are very busy, and trust me, they are very, very rich people. And chefs are very famous in the US. There is a lot of professional chefs in the US that you can market or you can tap into. You can offer your expertise in calendar, inbox, household, travel, actually everything that we do as an executive virtual assistant, we can offer to chefs. There you can find chefs on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, possibly on YouTube. They are actually all over social media already, so you can definitely reach out to them on all of the social media platforms. The next one are real estate agents. Now, you can say that, hey, real estate agents, they already have Reva or the real estate VA. They are already considered a specific niche. But you have to understand, real estate virtual assistant focuses on the job or the business side of things, like fixing their documents and all of those things. When we say we reach out to real estate agents, we can offer our services to them in terms of their personal lives and not professional. We can do a little bit of professional, but it's quite hard. Real estate VAs or the real estate VA niche is very detail oriented. It's really different, especially when we talk about documents and contracts. So let's leave that to the real estate VAs. But we can approach or get real estate agents as our clients so that we sell in terms of, or we highlight the inbox management, calendar management, travel management, household management on their personal side of things so that they can focus on their professional lives, all of those. That's how we can approach real estate agents. Now, where to find real estate agents? You can get them on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. They are actually all over the social media already. And they are also starting to have a big following on TikTok. Last one on our list is our small business owners. Now, small business owners is a huge pool of professionals. This is a really big market that we can tap into. We can choose like niche specific business owners. Like we have wedding and events planners, photographers, florists, plumbers, electricians, locksmith, hair and makeup artists, restaurant owners. So they are small business owners that we can get to hire us as an executive virtual assistant so they can focus on their personal or their professional lives depending on what type of service they would need. You just have to really learn how to sell yourself as an executive virtual assistant. So for example, like me, if I plan to look for a direct client, I would definitely tap into the wedding and events planner or any small business owner in the wedding and events industry because that's my background. So I can definitely help them with their business processes, their all of those things because I already know how to do weddings and events. So if you are someone who is a cook, okay, but it's very hard to be a professional chef here in the Philippines, and you want to dive into being an executive virtual assistant, then you can go to your niche specific industry or an industry specific type of client. You can go to restaurant owners, chefs, all of those things. If you are in the medical background, let's say you're a nurse, then you can go approach doctors, dentists, and that type of industry. Now, where to find small business owners? You can actually find them on Yelp. There are a lot of small business owners under Yelp. You can also find them on LinkedIn, and some of them you can search via any type of social media. But small business owners will definitely be very active on Instagram and TikTok. Now that you already know who your target market is as executive virtual assistant, let's try to see where you will find these clients. Like I mentioned, you will definitely find them. Some would be on Upwork and OLJ. Some you can apply via an agency if you are having a hard time looking for direct clients. And most of them, if you really want to look for direct clients and not go through Upwork, OLJ, or an agency, then you can find them on all of the different social media platforms that we have and what I just discussed. Now that you know where to find your clients, you know who they are, I'd like to show you the roadmap when it comes to getting or booking your clients. So these are the steps that you need to take when looking for a client. So first one is when you already have like a list of potential clients, then you will start to send your portfolio or your resume to them. Once, for example, they said that, hey, yes, I'm interested, then the next thing that you will do is to book a discovery call, or you'll schedule a discovery call. When you're done with the discovery call, you already know what their pain points are, why they need you. Then the next thing that you will do after the discovery call is to send your proposal. Your proposal should already include like details of what you're going to do for your client, and then you should also have there your rate. Okay, your proposal should also already include your terms and conditions so that your client already knows what your processes are, when your specific deadlines are, all of those things. Once your client says, yeah, okay, I'm good with our proposal, then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to book or schedule an onboarding call. Onboarding call would include your client giving you access to their inbox, their calendar, and all of those things. Once you're done with your onboarding call, then you will send your client an invoice, especially if your payment terms would detail that they have to provide you with a down payment first prior to you starting, then you send your invoice. But if your payment term is, let's say, at the end of the month or every 15 days, then sending an invoice is something that you can cut off in this roadmap. Once you're done with all of that, as long as you're done with your onboarding call, then you can already start working for your client based on your start date in your contract. Now, your proposal can already stand as your contract, but if you want to send a brand new contract different from the proposal that you already sent, then you can send that also after your onboarding call. We have actually reached the end of our free webinar, but if you are hungry for more knowledge, because what I just showed you is actually just the tip of the iceberg. There are still a lot of things that I can share you, but we are already more than 1 hour. So the learning the details of how to become a successful executive virtual assistant is so much more than a 1 hour free webinar. So if you want to take in more and have that a more detailed learning experience, then you don't have to look anywhere else, because I created an online course. This is a paid online course on how to be an executive virtual assistant. So you can definitely enroll in this course. Currently, I am selling it at 499 pesos. But in the next few months, it's going to go up to 1,499 pesos. If you are watching this and you are not in the Philippines, I am selling it currently at a discounted rate of $9. In the next few months, it's going to go up to $30. That's because I am relaunching the online course into a brand new platform because our online course right now is in a Notion workspace. I am going to relaunch it into a Thinkific online work online course workspace. The environment is amazing. It's really a workspace or a platform for online course creators. So once I launch that, everyone who purchased at a discounted rate will automatically be migrated to that new platform. So if you're watching this right now, then it's time to purchase the online course while it's still at the discounted rate, because it's going to go up to $30, 30 US dollars, and or 1,499 pesos in the next few months. So while it's still on sale at 9 US dollars or 499 pesos, then it's time to purchase the course. But you're saying, what's in it for me? If I'm gonna purchase it, what am I gonna take? What's included in the course? So what's in it for you? The online course has 16 modules. So it's so much more than the few modules that we just talked about in the free webinar. So the first module is we're going to talk about American culture, since most of our clients will be getting from the US, or they will mostly be Americans. So the first important thing is to learn who your clients are, familiarize yourself with the US culture so that you know how to assist your clients properly. You won't have that barrier in terms of your cultural differences, so you have to get to know who your clients are. Next module is inbox management. It's a deep dive of inbox management as well as tutorials on how to use the feature of Gmail. Next would be calendar management. Calendar management is also a deep dive into how to use or how to do calendar management and tutorials on the features of Google Calendar. Travel management for module 4 is a deep dive also. So everything here in this online course is a deep dive on how to do travel management and the different skills of an EVA. I will also teach you what websites to go to, how to book flights, and you will also have access to downloadable templates. Module 5 is event management. Same goes with the other modules. It's a deep dive into what event management is. Module 6 is household management. 7 is meeting management. 8 is social media management. I'm going to teach you how to read analytics and when to post and all of those things. Module 9 is the tools that you need. So these are most of the tutorials. I will teach you how to use Calendly, how to sign up for Calendly, how to use Notion, and all of the other tools that we discussed. Module 10 is introduction to cryptocurrency. So I'm just going to teach you like the basics of cryptocurrency and how to understand them, because most of the clients who are open into hiring executive virtual assistants are into cryptocurrency. Some of the startups also in the US who are hiring executive virtual assistants are into a crypto business. So you have to familiarize yourself with cryptocurrency. Module 11 is the characteristics that you need to have. It's more than what we discussed earlier. So that's the characteristics that is very important for you to set your mindset to succeed as an executive virtual assistant. 12th module is how to create your online profile. So I'm going to teach you how to have the resume, where to create, how to create a portfolio on Canva, and all of those things. Module 13 is where to find your clients. So I'm going to teach you how to approach clients, how to send them an email, how to search them on Instagram, how to look for them on TikTok. That's what we're going to discuss in where to find clients. Next would be how to book your clients, or the process of like what we just discussed earlier, the roadmap. We're going to it in more detail. Like I'm going to teach you how to create a contract, how to create a proposal, how to create an invoice, all of those things. Module 15 are the challenges of an executive virtual assistant. So you will be able to see the personal challenges that I experience and how to resolve those challenges. And the last one is Module 16. Now, Module 16 is specifically for Filipinos because I will teach you how to complete your business and legal documents if you are an executive virtual assistant working here in the Philippines. So so those are the modules that we have, but wait, there is more. So there are other inclusions. Once you enroll in our online course, you're going to have lifetime access. So everything that will be updated in the course, you will have access to it, and you don't have to pay for anything extra. You're also going to have access to downloadable templates that you can use personally to send to your clients and all of those things. The online course is everything in the online course is on video. So it's just like this one, and some of them will have screen share or screen grab tutorials. You will also be invited to free webinars, monthly webinars that I will host live. And then you will also be provided with monthly newsletters, but the newsletter now is actually for free for everyone. But you will have invites, or you will receive monthly newsletters for exclusive invites to events, as well as in-person events that I'm planning to have this 2023. And I've actually just removed the one-on-one mentorship, but we're going to have exclusive small group coaching. When I say small group, it's going to be 3 to 5 attendees that I will coach in terms of mentorship. So those are the things. Now, how much is it for? Like I mentioned, it will go up to $100. Sorry, it will go up to $30 or 1,499 pesos in the next few months. But right now, I am selling it at 499 pesos only, or for $9. So if you are interested, then it's time to purchase now, because once I relaunch the online course under Thinkific platform, it will go up to $30 or $1,499. It's still on sale because the worth of our course, basically I feel like it's worth 5,500 pesos or $100. So please purchase it now while it's still on sale at 499 pesos or $30. For those people who are watching and interested to enroll, who are overseas or foreigners, non-Filipinos, you can purchase the course via PayPal. Everything will be detailed in the caption or in the where you access this course. And that's it. We've come to the end of our free webinar. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you learned a lot from this free webinar. But just like what I said, if you still want, or if you feel like you want to be an executive virtual assistant and you want to learn more, that's why I have the online course for you. So you can definitely enroll. It's everything that you need to be able to succeed as an executive virtual assistant. You don't have to look for different videos online. You don't have to look for different tutorials and different providers or different creators. Everything, I already included it in our online course. Because when I was starting, I couldn't find like a one-stop shop to be able to learn how to be an executive assistant. So I created it for all of you guys. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you learned a lot in this free webinar. And if you want more free content, you can check out my YouTube channel. And you can also sign up for my newsletter. Everything will be detailed in the caption if this is on YouTube, or in the email if I sent this to you via email. All of the important links will be there. So I hope you sign up and join my community as well. I am also on Discord. We have MJ Virtual EA community in Discord. You can join me there. I'm always there every day. So if you want to see me outside of this platform, then you can definitely join our Discord channel. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time. I hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you in all of my other social media. And I hope to also hear that you are succeeding as an executive virtual assistant, a freelancer, or a solopreneur. Good luck to your chosen career. Reach out to me anytime, and have a great day, guys. Bye.